welcome to our Empower Hour call this Monday, October 14th. We're coming live with Todd Falcone tonight, guys. As you know, every week we bring you guys value for the industry. We love to come on and share strategies and mindset, but we've been having special guests come on. And tonight is exciting. If you're watching this right now, go and message people, send out a blast, go invite your teams, your friends. I've been in the industry for 12 years, guys, and Todd is one of the first trainers that I came across. And so if you would have told 12 years ago me that we'd be on a call with Todd and hosting an interview with him, I'd be like, no way. So it's very cool that he's extending this time of his to give you guys free value. And when you can do that and come together and have this mastermind group together where we get to do that, it's so exciting. I'm going to let Paul do the introductions because I know you guys are great friends and share with each other. And yeah, I'm really excited for tonight. So Todd, thank you so much for being here with us. And guys, get excited and get out your notebooks.
Absolutely. If you don't take notes for this, you're going to miss probably one of the greatest nuggets, the greatest listing, and the simplicity in which Todd delivers. But Todd's got, I think, Todd, well over 25 years experience from what I understand in the industry. And he's spoken globally. He's graced so many huge stages that it's phenomenal. And I can only aspire to do some of that and be able to share that knowledge and that wisdom. A very, very highly regarded trainer. And the best part about Todd is that you don't even know you're learning when you're learning with Todd. This is how my personal experience, but so many other people that I've spoke to about him. It's almost like osmosis where you kind of gather all this information, but the humor too that he delivers with. And I said this earlier, he sounds like an East Coast guy. And that's something that really appealed to me. Meanwhile, I think he's the everyman of network marketing, but yet he takes things to such a higher level. He wrote a book, which is the first book of network marketing I ever wrote. I bought The Fearless Networker, and it came with a little black book of scripts. And Todd was gracious enough to have me on his podcast, and I hope I did him a little bit of justice. But I told him I have a dog-eared, oh my God, I would be embarrassed to show it to him of how bad this book looks, but that means I really use the book. Very, very impactful speaker. Every time he shares something, if I'm not taking notes, I don't really want to miss anything, but it's something that really hits you hard. Besides that, on a personal note, if you follow Todd, and I urge you to follow him on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and just look at, he's an outdoorsman. He really, he's a guy's guy, and he's an outdoor enthusiast, fishing, and I think that, I think makes him someone who so many people can appeal to. And I think he comes off as being so down to earth and so real. So what I want to do now is I want to introduce you guys to Todd. And Todd, I want you to just share with whatever comes on your mind and just give these people some value. And then we'll tell them how they got to maybe get some of your books and everything at the end. But welcome.
Yeah, it's great to be here. How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, well, thank you for the kind introduction. Actually, speaking of outdoors, I literally just got back. 11 o'clock this morning. I did an overnight backpacking trip with one of my buddies and went out into the woods and hung out. And it's a great night too. It was beautiful. So yeah, no, it's just it's great to be here. Yeah, I've been in the space for 35 years actually.
Oh wow, okay,
long time. I think we can just stick with 25. That's good. That's good enough. But. And yeah, Angel, I didn't know that, I was one of the first people you plugged into 12 years ago. I think that's super cool. So yeah, I've been on the training side for, I think, I don't know, roughly 18 years or something like that. I always get people ask me well, did you always want to be a trainer? I'm like, no, bro. I had no plans of being a trainer at all. It wasn't even in my thoughts, my dreams. It was just, I had a company that I was with for 11 years that went out of business, and we went on to go build another company like you typically always do. If a company goes out of business, if network marketing gets in you, I don't know how people can leave network marketing permanently, especially after you had it going right once. It's like I've never done it, but I figure crack cocaine is probably pretty addictive. And I think it's MLM network marketing. It's so addictive, that residual income. Maybe I can come up with a better analogy than that. I don't know, but it's just.
I think our audience can relate to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully nobody can relate to it because it's it's probably not something you want to get into. So, but, and you're talking about my book, Fearless Networking, being like dog-eared and ponytailed or whatever. I don't like seeing my book like perfect condition. I did an event a few weeks ago, and this guy brought me a copy of the Little Black Book, the original one. We actually just released the brand new one, and Fearless Networking, and both of them were just tattered. And I'm like, I love that, man. Tattered and notes all over it and highlights. And, that means it's getting used. So, but yeah, so, I'm happy to be here, happy to share whatever you want, man. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not going to say I know everything about network marketing, but I've been in it for a pretty long time and been fully immersed in this space. So there's not a lot that I don't know. If you start asking me questions about how to be great at TikTok, I'm going to leave. So I won't leave, but I'll be like, no, man, TikTok is not my specialty. But, when it comes to figuring out how to succeed in this business, I think a lot of people make it harder on themselves than they need to. Most of it has to do with like the mental side of the equation, but from a skill standpoint and the things that we do each and every day, I think the good news for anybody watching this, it's like everything we do here is learnable. It's not like the guy I went and hung out with like yesterday. Yeah. He's really, really smart. Like this guy is one of those dudes who he looks at something, like he'd look at this light over here and he goes, I need to figure out exactly what, how that light works. So he'd probably be able to take the thing apart, put it back together, understand, I don't even like his brain's totally different than mine. If you like people and you like helping people, there's no reason you couldn't win big in network marketing if you put the right work in for a long enough period of time to get the result. So yeah, man, I'm open. I'm game to go whatever direction you guys want to go.
So let's talk about a couple of things. You really do combine fun with your educational process, right? I mean, you got characters that you utilize. I'd love for you to touch on the characters because I think that people are so uptight with this business and they just overthink it so much. And the next thing is then how do you lead that into prospecting? I think that, maybe one technique that a lot of people overlook, the power of prospecting. So I think the two things, the fun thing and some of the characters you created to make it easy for us. And what was some of the thought process that went into that? And then a little bit about prospecting.
Oh, you're asking about Buzzy. I was coming back from the gym. I think this was like in 07. I think that video is like 16 years old. It might have been 08. I was coming back from the gym and I heard this automotive lease commercial where they've got this long disclaimer that's like option to purchase lease and $29.95 a month. You can't even understand it, but legally they got to do it. And I had this like trigger in my mind. I'm like, oh, that's I could make something funny out of that. And then people do dumb stuff all the time in network marketing. They hype and they exaggerate. And like, this is the single greatest thing since sliced bread. We're going to be the next billion-dollar giant, never before seen or heard and done. We pay to maximum infinity times 20, like just stuff that just like any intelligent person is going to be like, bro, like, what are you talking about? And so I went home and I had like no plans, like of ever doing, I didn't even know, like this character came up as a result of me like, oh, I'm going to do this business opportunity presentation, which I call business opportunity spoof because that's what it is. And I had this wig and this fake mustache and these teeth, these Billy Bob teeth. And I threw it in and it was funny. As soon as I put the teeth in my mouth, I was sitting there. I was like, "What's my name? What's my name? What's my name?" My voice started to change. I was like, "What's my name? Buzzy. I gotta have a last name. What's my last name? Buzzy Boxer." And then I drew up this presentation on a whiteboard. I never practiced it. Like I just drew it up, and I thought about it. Obviously, drew it up, and I was like, "Hi there, folks. My name's Buzzy. My wife calls me Fuzzy sometimes, but don't you worry about that. That's not part of what I'm talking about here. I'm here today to talk to you about a wonderful business opportunity. Now, if you want to be rich and smiley like this guy up here, and you want to be broken with tears coming down your eyes, we got this mega $1 million opportunity in a $19 billion industry. That's with the beat. And I could literally probably do this. I could probably do the whole thing. I'm not going to right now. You can always go to YouTube for that. But I did that character. And it just makes fun of all the crazy, dumb things that people still do in network marketing all the time. And like I played it live. I've had companies hire me to come as Buzzy. I still haven't got invited just to come as Buzzy and not as Todd. But then I know I'm going to have a problem if they don't want me, but they just want this crazy character that represents all the bad things that you shouldn't do in network marketing. And it's a fun way of teaching because It's hilarious. All the things that he does are actually real things people do in network marketing. I was going to do that one time, and then I just, I don't know, I kept on doing it, and I still don't do them like on the regular. Like he probably comes out like once a month. He's sitting over in a pile over here in the corner. Like if I need to throw the wig and the mustache, well, actually, I don't even do that anymore because I just haven't shaved my beard in I don't know how many years, but yeah. So it's a fun way of teaching. I think humor is always good. And that's a lot different than just telling jokes. Like when I speak, it's like half comedy show and all training. Maybe not on a Zoom like this or something, but like if I'm on stage, it's like, I feel like I'm there to educate, but like nothing wrong with getting a little entertainment value out of it at the same time. Especially because when I'm teaching, I'm just super serious about like helping people understand what does it take to win here. Like you guys all paid money to be at this event. You flew in from different locations from all over. You're paying money for the hotel. You paid for a ticket. You're spending money on food, and you came here to learn. So if you came here to learn, I'm not your motivational speaker. Like I'll let somebody else do the motivational speaking stuff. You get motivated by something that I say, that's entirely your fault. I mean, it's so I'm a very how-to guy. Like I wanted somebody to tell me the truth. Like just tell me what the hell I have to do to be successful here. And I'll do it. Because I saw, early on, I mean, first time I got introduced to network marketing, the moment before I walked into that room, network marketing didn't exist to me on the planet. I was fully unaware of it. Like I didn't have an aunt that tried one or a friend of a friend that got in some deal and it didn't work for him. And by the way, when you hear those stories, most of those people never applied themselves. And the thing that pisses me off is like, oh, I got burned. I'm like, well, tell me the story about how you got burned. Well, I did this company and I didn't make any money. And it's like, Herbalife or something like that. I'm like, dude, you didn't get burned by Herbalife. They're an $8.5 billion a year company. It's one of the most successful companies in the history of network marketing. You just didn't apply yourself. I don't ever really meet people that truly got burned. And if a company goes out of business, you didn't get burned. They just went out of business. That's unfortunate, but bootstrap yourself up and get after it again. It's like, what's that Chinese proverb? Get knocked down 7 times, stand up 8. And that's a beautiful quality for networkers, man. Like you got to be resilient. You got to be thick-skinned like a rhino. You got to be resilient, be able to bounce back from a setback. I mean, there's a lot of qualities you need to exhibit. This is not easy. Like, it's simple in terms of like what we do. You mentioned like prospecting. If there's anything that you should get good at, you should get good at prospecting. You should get good at inviting.
Angel, did he freeze up a little bit?
Yeah, he's frozen for me.
Okay. I think Todd, if you could hear us, you froze up a little bit. And I really wanted him to get to the prospecting thing. He was breaking up a little bit. Was he having a little trouble with his audio?
Yeah, maybe. I was thinking when he just said that, so let's do a giveaway.
I'm seeing that I'm like kind of stuck. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now. You're back. You're back.
Yeah, you pay all this money for internet and then it still doesn't work sometimes. So,
well, just do what I do and steal it from your neighbor, and it's fine.
Well, let me do this for a second. Let me just pause my VPN.
Okay. And what did you want to do, Angel, while he was doing that? Yeah,
he just said you have to be like a rhinoceros. And I don't know, Paul, have you ever listened to or read Rhinoceros Success? It's a short read or listen, but it's so funny. So when he was saying that, I think we do Todd's book and then also Rhinoceros Success as the second book, because it's just like when he said that you have to have the skin of a rhino, it's like absolutely. Like it's it gives you that motivation every day.
Okay, so we're going to do that, but he's back now. But we'll definitely do the Fearless Networker and the Rhino thing.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do that. But let's give him back to Todd and then Angel if you want to go too, if you have a question.
So here's the thing. When you look at like the failure rate in network marketing, which is high, it's also high in real estate. It's high in pretty much all sales. There's a high failure rate, but I think the main reason people don't win is not because like network marketing as a profession is stacked up against you and you're somehow part of this group that can't succeed. It's most people just don't do the work and they don't do the right work for long enough. I mean, if we really like actually have conversations with people like, oh, I failed or I didn't make any money. It's like, well, let's talk about that. And if you get really down to brass tacks with people, it's like, well, they didn't really do anything, or they didn't do anything for, like, sitting there posting on Facebook and Instagram, waiting for somebody to call you is not building a network marketing business. You got to have some thick skin, and you have, like, one of the things that I talk about all the time is this correlation between competence, that's skill level, and confidence. Because this game is a confidence game. You have to have confidence in the profession, in your owners, in your products, in your team leaders, and then you're the variable. Like, so we have to work on developing our own self-confidence. Like, can I do this? How do I get good at this? Like, I don't feel, because everybody starts from wherever they start. Like, I started with no sales experience, no experience, obviously, in network marketing. Everybody, the first time they come into network marketing, it's the first time they did network marketing, so they got no experience in it. And sure, somebody's like personality or past history might lend itself well to immediately being able to get off. Maybe they're super outgoing, they're very charismatic, they've done sales before, everybody loves them, they've got a great following, they're cool people. I mean, some of those things might be advantageous, but still, you got to apply yourself. I've seen totally outgoing, amazing human beings come into network marketing, not apply themselves, and then they don't get results. So my suggestion to everybody here, and I say this all the time, and I feel sometimes like I sound like a broken record that's on skip, because it's like, dude, here you are, you're not prospecting, you're procrastinating because you don't feel like you're good at it. So then work on getting good at it. Well, how do you get good at it? Well, how do you get good at anything? Well, okay, well, I have to do it. So you have to learn through experience. Everybody here probably watching at some point in their life played some sport, okay? Or even, okay, let's say you never did soccer, baseball, tennis, swimming, diving, whatever. You never did anything. Maybe you were in band. You never practiced. You never had rehearsal before you played for the school assembly. You never ever had soccer practice before you played on the Saturday game. Give me a break. You practiced all the time, which prepares you for the game. And the crazy thing in network marketing, nobody practices, yet they pay money to go to these events, and they're like, yeah, I want to get good. And I'm like, cool, what are you doing to get good? What do you mean? I'm like, dude, what are you doing to get good? You said you want to get good. What are you doing? Well, I'm doing stuff. I'm like, you're driving me bananas here, dude. It's like, do you spend any time practicing? What should I practice? Well, I don't know. Maybe practice how you invite somebody. Maybe get a team member, maybe get your spouse and have the spouse, hey, honey, can you play the mean person? Sure, I can do that. Hey, hi, is Susie in? Hey, Susie, this is Todd Falcone. How's it going? What do you want? Oh, well, I just launched this new business. Oh my gosh, you probably launched one of those stupid MLM things, right? Like, in fact, you know what, Todd, don't even call me because I'm not even your friend anyhow. Click. Okay, well, how would you be able to handle and work your way through that one? Okay, now, honey, can you play the nice person? Sure, I can play. Hi, is Susie in? Yeah, this is Susie, and my wife's Carla, by the way. I'm just using Susie as an example. Hi, is Susie in? Yeah, this is Susie. Hey, Susie, Todd Falcone. How's it going? Todd, oh my gosh, it's so great to hear from you. How's it going? I'm like, oh, I'm doing fantastic. How are you? And she's like, I'm doing amazing. I'm like, Susie, I'm calling you for a reason. I just launched this new business. Oh my gosh, you launched a business? That's so exciting. Please tell me it's network marketing. I'm like, yeah, it is. As a matter of fact, she said, you know what, Todd, I'm having a party at my house tonight with like 50 people. And you should come by tonight because all of us have been looking for a really great network marketing company. And if you come over here and give your presentation, I'm pretty confident that probably 55 of the 60 people are going to sign up. And you're like, oh yeah, what time you want me to be there? Right now, of course, those are total ridiculous examples and total polar opposites, but why not handle like okay, how much money are you making? I need to think about it. I tried one of those things and it didn't work. Practice how you ask the question. Hey, Paul, I got a very straight up question for you. Do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing? I think, yeah, I can lick that right off of my mouth because I've done it 10,000 times. The thing that you do repeatedly over and over again, you would expect to get good at. Like, okay, so maybe you're doing some attraction marketing stuff and you're doing a Facebook Live. Well, maybe you should watch other people's Facebook Lives and see the ones that get lots of views and take notes on those. You see people that are doing reels. What are they doing? Why are they getting, follow successful people in your company. If you want to be a winner in your company, find the top recruiter, not the top earner. Find somebody who's on the leaderboard. Find out what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with copying somebody else who's good at something. Pay attention to the doers and ignore the don'ters, because there's doers and don'ters in every deal. And I know that ain't proper English, so you don't need to correct me on that, but I'm not your audience. I mean, I know you're not going to correct me, but Todd, that's not don'ters is not a word. I know it's not a word, but I've had this phrase for years: do what the doers are doing, don't do what the don'ters are doing. And yes, I know that's a double negative and that doesn't make sense, but you get the point. Like, I wanted to win, so I watched this guy, Rich, and Rich was good and I wasn't. And I talked the way Rich talked to the best of my ability. I watched him, I listened to him, I tried to say the same words, ask the same questions. And over time, things started to, things started to happen for me. I studied sales. I studied communication skills. I practice. I still practice. I can go week to week to week at 5 different events in a row. Like, I got a bunch of events I'm speaking at the next several weeks. And I may, because they're different audiences, I may give, let's say I'm not at all of these, but let's say 4 weeks in a row, I'm going to use the exact same slide deck. I'm in my hotel room the morning of, before I'm going on stage, going through the slide deck. I made the slide deck. These are my slides. This is my content. This is my life. Yet I'm still going through, okay, what story am I? Okay, I'm kind of walking through, doing a little dry rehearsal before I get up on stage, even if I gave that same exact training, 2 days before. But people in network marketing all the time say that they want to get good, but they're not doing anything to get good. It's like my book back here, right? Let me see if I can point the right direction. There it is right there, okay? My book does you no good if you read it and it sits. I don't like being a dusty face. So don't buy my book if it's just going to sit there and do nothing. You should take the knowledge that somebody gives you and then apply it into your business. Like Sir Francis Bacon in the 1800s coined that phrase, knowledge is power. He's dead. He can't argue with me. But if he was here, I would argue with him and say, bro, you're wrong. Knowledge is powerless until you put it to use. So if you watch a video, if you read a book, if you do whatever, like, take it and apply it. I'll give you something. I'll give you something right now. Every single person can apply. Most of your money is going to be made on follow through. That means lay down sales are far and few between. Okay. You may talk to somebody the first time they sign up, but that's like 1 out of 100 signups. So if I initiate contact, say, look, I just launched this new business. I'm super excited about it. I'm all in on this thing. I'd love to work with you. I think it would be cool for us to work together. If I sent you this 10-minute video, when could you watch that today? And you're like, oh, I can watch it this afternoon. I'm cool. Awesome. Now, here's the difference. Notice the very simple and just very small difference, but it's the biggest difference maker. Hey, Paul, can I get back to you later? No. Oh, okay. Right. You could say that because of the way I asked you the question, can I get back to you? I mean, it's fine. It's better that you ask the question than not. But what if I said, Paul, when can I get back to you? Tonight at 5 or at 6? Which one is better for you? Just the one word when before the word can completely changes the question from a yes, no to a presupposition. I know I don't want to get too technical with people. It's not that technical, but when can I presupposes that you can. So now you can either take what I said and blow me off and go, whatever, Falcone, or you can go, wow, that's actually pretty powerful. Me asking a different type of question, because words have power. It's the reason I wrote the little black book in the beginning, man. I wrote that book like 18 years ago, and it's really more of a training. It's not, you have it. So it's a booklet and audio training that accompanies it. I wrote that pre-internet, or not pre-internet, but pre-social media. And in the last 18 years, I've learned a lot too. So the last, starting, I think it was in February, I rewrote that whole training from top to bottom. We just, maybe a month ago, released the new version. It's a little black book of scripts 2.0. It's the compelling guide to, it's the most complete, comprehensive guide to having conversations with people in network marketing. If you don't know what to say, you're probably not going to say it. So if you don't know what to say on a follow-up or what to do on a follow-up, you're probably going to blow it off because you're afraid of what's gonna happen. But if you take something like that, take the little black book of scripts, you actually read it, you listen to the audio training, you apply it, you learn from those experiences, what's going to happen is your competence, your skill level is going to increase. And what is directly connected to that is your confidence. So if you have high competence, high skill, you're going to have high confidence. They're connected to one another. So if you're down here with no skills, you're not going to want to prospect people. You're going to put it off. You're going to alphabetize your leads. You're going to dust your desk. You're going to do everything but the one thing that makes you money. And let me just tell you something. The only thing that makes you money in this business is exposure. Nothing else matters. If you can't recruit somebody or if you can't sign up a customer, you're never going to succeed in this business. Most people don't spend enough time on the single most important activity, which is okay, who am I? and looking at it in a different way. Who do I get to meet today, or who's lucky enough to be exposed to me today? Not because I'm super cool or I'm that great or like there's something, wow, oh, there, not from an arrogant standpoint, but because you have such an amazing, group of products, or you got an amazing service or whatever it is that you market, that if somebody were to had a need or a want or pain or dissatisfaction that your product or your service could totally solve for them, they're going to feel better, they're going to have more energy, they're going to sleep better, they're going to whatever, they're going to lose weight, whatever it might be. You're an agent of change, not somebody who's like, oh, who do I got a bug? I don't want to be I don't want to be intrusive. I don't want to bother people. No, man, you got to get up every morning and go, whose life do I get to impact today in a positive manner, both with the products that you bring to the market and the financial opportunity. And just so you know, you only have a financial opportunity because whatever it is that you're selling is solving problems. That's the only reason any financial opportunity exists or any business exists, because that product that's being sold relieves a pain, solves a problem, whatever it does. Otherwise, there's no value exchange. So I don't know. I would just say, look at a great question to ask yourself at the end of every day. I've taught this for years. You finish your day, before you put your head on your pillow, just say, man, what did I produce today? What did I produce today? And here's another challenge I'll give. And I've done this on stages for eons, and I'll never stop doing it. If you guys are watching this, here's a little test. This is a test to determine, are you really in your business and doing your business, or are you a bench warmer sitting on the sidelines? You ready? If you're taking notes, hopefully you are, draw a little square, little box on your piece of paper. And in that box, I want you to write a number. And that number is, how many new people in the last 24 hours have you exposed to your product or your business? Not how many did you think about, how many did you re-alphabetize, how many did you ponder or pontificate over, how many team members did you call, how many new people did you talk to within the last 24 hours? And if that number is a 0, if it's a donut hole, then I'm sorry to tell you, but you're not in the business. Because literally, I could do an invite here in like 30 seconds. I could reach out to somebody, send them a text message, pick up the phone, say, hey man, I've been thinking about you. I launched this business. You got to take a look at this thing, man. I'm going to send you this video. When can you spend 10 minutes watching this video? I'll call you back. You can do it now. Cool. I'll call you back in 15. Done. I don't know how many seconds that took me, but I mean, it doesn't take you very long to execute an invite. And there's a little phrase that goes along with that box: double digits a day, keep the commission checks on their way. What's a double digit? 10? That's the first double digit if we're looking at numbers. 1, 2, 3. I'm not saying that you're not in the business if you're not talking to at least 10 people a day, but if you're drawing blanks every single day. Oh, here's one other thing real quick, and then I'll shut up. Let me make sure I got it right, because I think your people will love this.
Don't you dare
hold
shut
on.
up.
Okay. So there is a challenge that I have. It's called the 30-day prospecting challenge. It's a very simple, completely free download, no strings attached. It's toddfalcone.com/30day. That's toddfalcone.com/30day, DAY. You don't even have to do the full 30 days, because within 5 days of you doing that challenge, you're going to know clearly whether you're in the business or just sitting on the sidelines watching, and everybody else who's in the game is winning, and you're just watching people pass you by. You have to get in the game and you got to play it.
You know what, Angel, I think we should do, I want to leave it open to you for questions, but I think we get on next week, people are going to win books, right? So we're going to weigh 3 sets of books, Todd's books, and we're going to do the 30-day challenge. We're going to log on live next Monday, and we're actually going to go on to that 30-day challenge, because I think it's important. We were just talking about doing something like that. But Angel, I want to pass it on to you, because I made a bunch of notes, but I want to give you a chance to
So I've got two questions, if I can, Paul. But no, the first thing, I think one of the things that attracted me to your training the most, I'm so surprised to hear that you don't have a sales background, first of all, because you have always come across as that trainer where it's like, you've already overcome all of the mindset stuff and already are in that confidence. So what do you think about you? And I hope everybody was taking notes that whole time because there's just so much gold in there. What do you think it is about you that's a little bit different than the average network marketer? Because most people are they're coming in broken, back against the wall. They need the money. Nobody's told them that they're good enough. Like usually it's people who are brought to this industry because it's actually the inner work that needs to be done before the money comes and the success. So you've always at least projected yourself to be far beyond that. So what do you think it is where like what did you overcome so quickly to just jump into that zone of, hey, this is what needs to be done and this is what I have to do every day and it's easy and it's the amount of time I put into it? Like, how did you get there?
Yeah, that's a great question. And there's a great quote from Natalie Cole. Everybody sees the glory, but they don't know the story. So you see me 35 years into this game. I'm a completely different human being than when I started. I grew up in a very broke family. We weren't living on food stamps, but we didn't have extra. Okay. I mean, both of my parents had jobs. We didn't, I never was homeless, but there was no wealth in my family whatsoever. Zero, not anything close to it. My parents got divorced. My mom married my stepdad, who at the time was a six-figure earner, not rich, but I got a chance to see the difference between fully broke and having options. And I realized that money buys you options. So I knew, and I was the first kid in my entire family to go to college and graduate college. I graduated out of the marketing department at Long Beach State. And my jobs up until that point were McDonald's, Jack in the Box, parking cars at Kelly's restaurant in Long Beach, California. And then I sold women's shoes for like 3 months. So I don't have a quote sales background, but I sold women's shoes for like 3 months. But Fred Sosha kept staring over my shoulder, and I always realized back then I never liked somebody staring over my shoulder. I'm trying to put shoes on this woman's feet, and you're trying to get me to upsell this woman into some Puccini pumps, and she's got a triple D wide foot. And I'm trying to just get her a pair of shoes that she can wear. And then I had this guy, Fernando. This is actually it's interesting you asked that. So in college, in Professor John Walzer's history class at Cal State Long Beach, I met this new dude named Fernando Avila. He was 42 years of age at the time. I was probably 19. And he was this dude who kind of ended up glamming on to my group of friends. And he always had money, and I was a broke college student. So Fernando, kind of weird, whatever, but Fernando would show up and he'd be at all these college parties, but he always had a wad of cash, man. He always had money, and we were all broke, and he would be like the dude buying the beers, and he would be like the great guy to have around back then. And one day he says to me, he goes, Keto, he called me Keto. He's like, Keto, I'll show you how to make $1,000 a week. And I was like, is it legal? He's like, yeah. He goes, I'm number one. I'm the number one sales guy at Paragon Cable in Orange County. This is back in 1990 or 1980, 88, I think it was. And I got this sales job, and he goes, but here's the thing. And this is a very important lesson. He goes, I'll teach you how to do it. All the other guys, they work 10 to 12 hours a day, 6 or 7 days a week. And I'm always the number one salesperson. And I work 3 nights a week, 3 hours a night. I mean, I'm thinking, of course, I want to, yeah. So we get into his 1971 creepy GMC panel van, one of the creepy ones of if you got kids, you're grabbing your kids as they're driving through the neighborhood. There's no windows, no doors, just the driver and passenger in the front. And we're literally on a queen size bed in the back of his GMC panel van. I'm gonna get creepy on you for a second. And he pulls out a yellow pad and he starts writing out a script for me in Spanish. And I'm like, that's Spanish. He goes, yeah. He goes, I only sell to Spanish speaking households, and we only sell HBO. You need to memorize this. I was like, okay. And I had taken Spanish class, but I'm not fluent in Spanish. So I memorized the script. Hola, yo soy de cable televisión. Vamos a venir a todas las personas aquí con el cable. Damos un mes de prueba. Si le gusta, le deja. Si no le gusta, I can still do the whole thing. I'm not going to. But here's the thing. When somebody has something that you want and they're willing to show you how to get it, and they're willing to show you exactly what they did to do it, you don't reinvent the wheel. So that was my first foray into selling and using a script, because I literally memorized a script. I would knock on the doors. I was the only white dude in any of these neighborhoods. And I would work 3 hours a night, 3 nights a week, just like Fernando. I was making $1,000 a week. I'd walk into the sales meeting after surfing on, Monday morning with, sandals on and sand between my toes. And I walk in, I look at the whiteboard, and there's all these dudes. Let me do it with my glasses here. This would be perfect. All these dudes that were sitting there with their glasses on, the ones that hang them down way down here, going like this, looking up at the board as we're walking in, just, pissed off because there's Fernando and Todd, or Todd and Fernando. And it was like that every single week. I was selling cable TV when I got introduced to network marketing. And that was the job that I quit 90 days into I'm thinking I'm going to make 10 grand a month in my first 90 days. I'm making a lot of money at that time for a 21, 22-year-old kid, barely working. I quit that job 90 days into my first network marketing deal thinking I'm going to be making all this money. And I ended up I ran out of cash quick because I had no cash. I had creditors chasing me. So you see this level of confidence. I didn't start that way. It took me 2 years. The first 2 years I was in there, I learned a ton. I had great training, but I had zero to show for it financially. I moved to my parents' house in the bunk beds at my mom's house. I took a job as an account executive for their radio station selling advertising. I had never sold advertising in my life, to regroup financially, cut up all my credit cards and go through consumer credit counseling. And I immediately, the first day I remember walking into this is my family's radio station. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I go from all these fun entrepreneurial people to these grumpy account executives that are looking at me like, oh, here's the owner's kid. He's going to sit on his butt, or they're going to take accounts from me. I was not welcomed nicely at all. And I just came in, I put my head down, I went to work. Within 10 months, I was the number 2 earning account executive in that market. Why? Because I outworked everybody else. I showed up earlier, I stayed later, I prospected more than everyone else. They gave me the yellow pages and a list of accounts nobody else could close. I came from 2 years of intense network marketing training. I will tell you this, the level of training and the culture in the company that I was in there was virtually no company anywhere in network marketing at that time that was providing the depth of education and training that we got that early on. And I think that was instrumental, not only in my attitude, but in the acceleration of my skill sets. And, I can't go repeat, do it all over again. So I don't regret any of my decisions. I'm sure we all have things that we regret doing, but that's my journey. It was 4 years before I got to my first $10,000 a month, in not just a one time, but like $10,000 a month. And I did it in a 1-bedroom duplex working out of a garage. And a really quick lesson on that is, I was coming from, because you mentioned this in your question, I was coming from this broke desperation mindset because I wasn't making money. When I signed up in the new network marketing business, which was within 90 days of me taking the job at the family radio station, I had to have my check and my product shipped to a friend's house, because if my mom found out I was doing network marketing under her roof, as she was helping me regroup, I would have been kicked out. And so I would leave the house with a roll of quarters and a pager and go to a payphone and make prospecting calls. And this time I built it part-time. I didn't quit the job. I was like, I'd stop at payphones. I'd make prospecting calls. I built the business very part-time for the next, just shy of 2 years. I had met my girlfriend, now my wife. We've been together for 32 years. And then I could have my products and my check shipped to, Carla's place. Now, I know you're getting a long answer to this, but there's so many lessons in this. Carla comes into the garage. There was carpet on the floor and they had built some kind of closet in there one day, and she's like crying. And she's like, I don't know if I can live with this. I'm like, what? Because she sees me doing my family business, and then at night I'm banging out calls, and now I'm like, I'm making probably, I don't know, I was making about 4 G's a month at this time. And she's like, I know you're going to go to jail. You're in a pyramid scheme. Da, da, da. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. This is early on in our dating, and we had moved in together. And I was like, because her 2 brothers had done like legit pyramid schemes. Like they never did a legitimate network marketing company. They were all in these like money games. So she just thought that's what I was involved in. And I was like, yo, baby, hold on a second. And I went into my drawer. I always have an L-shaped desk, just like I have now. I reach in there, I pull out a check, right? And I showed her the check, and it was like, I don't remember the exact amount. It was somewhere between $3 and $4 grand. And she's like, and I go, this is why I'm doing this. And I showed her the check, and she's like, is that real? And I'm like, yeah, it's real. It had been sitting in my desk for like 2 weeks. I didn't deposit it yet. And she's like, oh my gosh, that's more than I make full time in my job. I'm like, can I quit my job? I'm like, no, not yet. But this is what I'm doing. Like, I'm doing network marketing. This is what I'm doing. And I was very firm about it. And after she saw the check, she never said anything but positive things. She never like, oh, you're taking time away from me or whatever. And she's like my greatest supporter. And if you want to shut your spouse up, you've got a negative spouse, then you have a very short runway. You need to get busy, get serious, stop dabbling around, hobby crafting it, and get after it. Because the funny thing is, they'll shut up real quick as soon as they see the money. And if you're a woman, and dudes are worse, dudes are terrible at this with ladies. In our industry is dominated by females. You know, you got the husband, honey, you get 90 days of credit card money to do your little crafty, business that you got, whatever. And that's not cool, dudes. And it's not nice to your woman. And the funny thing is, you go out and, build a huge check, retire the husband, which I've seen many women do. And then the funny thing is, even though the dude's never even recruited a single person, now when you guys go to your national conference, it's going to have to be, let's say Carla was the one building the business and I'm just the husband, she retired. Oh, well, wait a second. When we get this award, it's got to be Todd and Carla Falcone, not Carla and Todd Falcone. It's got to be the dude's name first. And they'll get up there and they'll take the accolades on stage, even though they never recruited a single person. And it's like, I see this stuff happen all the time. So men or women, just be supportive of your spouse. They're doing it to provide a better financial future. And there's nothing better when you get network marketing going right. There's nothing better than that. So you see a totally different me than when I was a sweaty, stuttering, heart pounding, afraid, nervous wreck when I started. I was not a good networker, but I committed to getting better. I practiced, I worked, I did it. I learned through experience. And, you can't help but get better at something that you've done for 3.5 decades if you're doing it. So you never know what you're going to get when you ask me a question, huh?
No, I think it was powerful. It said if you're not willing to do some of the stuff that Todd's done and you're wondering about why you're not getting the results, that's it. I'm not saying you have to go to a payphone because I don't even think they exist anymore. I want to introduce.
I saw one the other day.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So I want to introduce Izzy Matos. Todd, I know you know Izzy and Angel. He's a big fan of the show, but on top of that, this truly is an agnostic call. Izzy's the master distributor for another company. We support each other. That's the whole purpose of this Empower Hour. But Izzy, I thought maybe if you came up and asked a couple of questions. But before they do that, I want to just mention a couple of VIPs. I want to welcome, we have Darren Burks in the audience. We have John Lepresto in the audience. Just a couple of power players out there. So I just wanted to say hi and thank you guys for tuning in. Okay, Izzy, it's all you.
Izzy, what's up, man?
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Timing is perfect for what I wanted to ask, especially on the riff that you were in. 2 quick questions. One's really ridiculous and personal, and that is, are you wearing a Richard Mille? Have you gone Eric Worre on me? And the second is...
No, this is my Garmin. I got a bunch of nice watches, but most of them are in the safe.
Okay, fine. Second thing is, Paul talked about the very first book you wrote, and I think in the advent of what you just shared, how you started out, all the trepidation, everything else, the fearless networker, how did you evolve into that? What is it today that constitutes being a fearless networker from the perspective of where you were to where people are now, and taking that statement and making it relevant right now? What is today a fearless networker?
Yeah, so it's interesting how I came up with that brand because I was the fearful networker. And when I trademarked the Fearless Networker, which was, a couple of decades ago, I had evolved from being this scared, I was not good. I wish I had I didn't grow up, I didn't start network marketing where there was a lot of tech around. So I don't have videos of myself or recordings of me sucking terribly on prospecting calls. So through that evolution of change, which we should all be evolving and changing and growing, I felt like, hey, I'm at this level where I'm willing to talk to anybody, anywhere, at any time without hesitation, because I've worked on my skill sets and I have such a deep-seated belief in the profession of network marketing. First and foremost, you could sit here and try to tell me network marketing is dumb, stupid, doesn't work. It's certainly not a perfect profession. Every industry's got its stuff. But to sit here and try to tell me network marketing doesn't work, anybody who tries to pull that argument with me is going to lose. They don't even bother barking up that tree. So I created that trademark. I created that brand, not because I'm the fearless networker, but when I moved into training, the whole objective is to help people become and find and discover that fearless networker that exists inside of them. And I mean, Izzy, you've been in the game for a long time, and everybody here has been in network marketing for a pretty extended period of time. And we've seen people come in with, they don't know anything yet. And they come in and it's so amazing to see them grow and change and to see this like amazing human being, like evolve and change as they apply themselves. And it's so, I don't want to say it's so shameful, but it's so I don't know what the right word is, but it kind of sucks to see somebody who's got all the capacity to give up on themselves. And a lot of people get into this business, as we all know, all of us here know, they come in and they give it a shot and they give it, I don't know, 30, 60, 90 days. And they just come in with like really kind of like blown out expectations. And then when they under deliver on those expectations, it leads to frustration and discouragement. And we've all had that, I'm sure. Like there were days where I would come home crying in a ball. Like, why is it happening for him? Why is it not happening for me? I've been really hard. I've been working hard. Like, what's wrong with me, God? Like, what, like, am I not cut out for this? And I'm like a little bulldog, man. Like, I saw other people succeeding and I'm like, I'm going to figure this thing out. And so I just stuck to it. I'm definitely not the fastest networker. I'm not the best networker. I mean, I'm good at it because I've done it for a long time, but there are people that are so much better than me, way better than me. I've just been in it for a long time.
Are you going to bring out any more buzzies?
Yeah, in fact, I saw Rob Sperry did a post, I think it was this morning, and he talked about all these like types of leaders, and I commented on his thread. I'm like, those would be perfect for Buzzy. He's like, I can't wait to see him. So I copied and pasted it on a document. So Buzzy's going to come out and he's going to use all these bad examples of leadership that Rob was talking about on that post. So yeah, he comes out, sometimes he's in jail or I don't know where he's locked up someplace, but we'll let him out again.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks for coming in, Izzy. We appreciate it. We love you. Angel, what do you think?
There's so much. We have 3 hours, right? We're good with
I've got until 6 and then I have a team. So
no, I wanted to just quickly, one of the things, and I think that, Paul and I, one of the reasons we work so well together is because we both come from a business mind and we're both professionals who have come into network marketing, right? So that really attracted me. I have your Insider Secrets to Recruiting Professionals course, like all of that, right? Right now in North America, we're seeing not only the industry change, but of course, like it's a little bit of a down market, right? So the best people to be talking to right now are people with money, people that are looking for the freedom aspect, the diversification, the extra income coming in, all of those little things. I know you're an expert at talking to the business professionals. So if you could give just like a nugget to the listeners, because it's one of the hardest things for people to do, especially if they're new or they haven't created success, to be able to talk to somebody who's maybe a higher level than them income-wise or success-wise, or they perceive it to be that way. How people right now can be talking. How do you connect that? How do you present an opportunity to a business professional right now in this current market that would be effective for any business in the industry?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, I think our natural tendency when we are lacking in confidence and skill sets is to go down the socioeconomic chain. It's easier to go after my broke friends and family or whatever, because if they blow me off, it's not that big of a deal. But then we look at our successful friends that have got the BMW or the nice house or what appears to be like they've got all their stuff together. And we have to some extent, some people have jealousy over that, or, they envy that. And then they think, well, why would they ever, look at something like this? I'll give you a really specific example. Actually, I had a friend of mine, Randall. I don't know if you guys ever see the movie Wall Street, the original Gordon Gekko. So that character, Gordon Gekko, was modeled after my friend Randall's wife's father. It was literally after him. This guy was one of the super wealthiest guys out of Texas. And Randall and his wife, they had this massive trust fund. He never had to work. This guy would buy a Porsche a month later, sell it and lose 50 grand. He'd buy this and sell it. And like he was gambling, like all this crazy stuff. And I played golf with this guy all the time because I was a network marketer. And so I never, Randall knew what I was doing. He knew I was involved in network marketing. And I never, this is a lesson I had to learn on my own. I never said, hey man, are you open to taking a look at what I'm doing? This thing's pretty cool. One day he calls me up and he goes, do you know Everett such and such? And I go, yeah, I know that dude. He goes, yeah, well, he's on your 7th level. I'm on your 8th. Why didn't you tell me about this? And I was like, I don't remember. I think I just said, because I'm a dumbass. I don't remember what I said. Like I was just, I just never thought he would. This guy, now he didn't build a huge business, but he built a customer base that honestly, I would have made 4 or 5 grand a month just on his customers in that company. And so that was a lesson for me right then and there. I'm like, you never know. You could be looking at somebody's situation and I'm like, why are you doing it? He goes, I'm bored, man. He goes, I think I can help a lot of people with this. And he goes, yeah, I don't need the money. And people do business. They do network marketing, not just because they need the money. Maybe they're making for 400 grand in a job, but they don't have any free time. They're stressed out. I can give you other examples. I'm not going to, but there are a lot of people that we look at them and on the outside, we make a judgment. And we hear in Network Marketing 101, don't prejudge people. Your job is to ask, to flip the rock over. How do you know if what appears to be super successful or maybe a super successful friend is open to taking a look at a business until you ask? And, like that Insider Secrets Recruiting Professionals course, that evolved through my own experience because I spent 11 years working leads back in the day when leads were like hot, like business opportunity seeker leads. And as my skill set developed and I was like, man, I love talking to good people and like picking up the phone and like, hey, is Bob in? The guy's like, yeah, this is Bob. I'm like, hey, Bob, Todd Falcone, how's it going? He's like, I'm like, that was no fun to me. But then you get on the phone with somebody who's sharp and open and they can communicate. And you're like, man, this makes network marketing fun. And I was like, where's all the good people at? And there was a Homes and Land magazine sitting there. And I was like, every realtor I know, they're pretty outgoing. They sell for a living. They make money on commissions. They prospect. I mean, they're independent. So I picked up the phone and called a realtor. I didn't know what I was going to say. I had fearful butterflies in my stomach. And I was like, first person said no. I'm like, well, that question didn't work right. Called another person, changed my words. They said yes. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I made 4 phone calls that very first night. And then I really started to concentrate on that because it was fun. I didn't have to try to do I didn't have to pre-qualify. 99.9% of all the people I talked to, they sounded great, sound like people I love to have in my business. And then I spent the next several years building my business, exclusively recruiting professionals, and I wouldn't tell anybody about it. And then I had my friend Anthony call me up. He's like, bro, you need to teach me this. I'm like, I ain't teaching this to anybody because I'm a fisherman. And when you have a secret fishing hole, you don't tell people where your secret fishing hole is. I was like, I ain't no chance am I going to have this pond outfished. Because I had run ad co-ops before and we had imploded multiple ad co-ops because the lead quality went down. So finally I put Anthony on, he's listening to me do calls and he's like, oh my gosh, this is like amazing. And I had finally gone to the U.S. Department of Labor's website and I did my own little analysis on the millions of people moving in and through those career categories where I was like, nobody can outfish this pond. So that's when I originally recorded Insider Secrets Recruiting Professionals. I re-recorded it, a few years ago and updated it. But, and I've got a bunch of people that's like my buddy, Jim Tanner. He's a 7-figure earner. He's built his entire business recruiting professionals. It can be done on LinkedIn. It can be done online. It can be done offline. But here's the thing. What are you doing when you're building a network marketing business? You're talent scouting. You're looking for the people that have the ability, the capacity, and the willingness to do this. And not that like a guy like me that you would have never looked at me at 22 and go, that guy's going to be a superstar in network marketing. You'd have been like, I don't even know if this guy's got a fighting chance. So I'm not saying don't talk to those people, but, recruit up.
Yeah.
Give them a chance by at least saying, hey, look, do you keep your options open at all in terms of making money outside of what you're currently doing? At least ask the question. And the thing is with professional people, they're not negative. They may say no to you. I get plenty. Always get more no's than you get yeses. So you got to get used to that. But if they say no, I've had people like, I remember calling this realtor and I could tell she was in her car. And I asked that exact question. She goes, no, I'm not interested, but I'm sitting next to my friend who's in the mortgage business and she's looking for a career change. Here, talk to Janet. And hands the phone over to Janet. I'm like, hey, yeah, and I had the conversation with her. I enrolled her in my business. So I think everybody in network marketing should be looking up. Like, who can I talk to? And again, you don't know what's going on in their heads or their household or their business. They're not going to tell you. Nobody's like, oh, I'm totally stressed out financially, or I hate my job, or I hate my this. Unless you're super tight with them, your job is to ask. If you flip the rock over, you get a yes, you get a no. But if you never ask, you never get. Period. End of story.
That is so good.
One,
Paul, thank you so much for bringing Todd on. I just want to reiterate one
my
thing
favorite.
too. Like that was a little bit higher level, but we want people to start thinking higher level, right? Like get into that higher level thinking and absorb this. And when we send out this replay, guys, listen to this. You want to talk about practicing, listen to how Todd speaks and thinks and what he did and how he got there, like over and over and over and over again. Play it while you're sleeping if you need to. But I just couldn't believe your mother didn't believe in you. You've got your wife. Oh, sorry. Did you want to say something? Go ahead.
No, I did want to say one thing real quick, since we've talked about it a bunch. People are like, what's this little black book thing? So if you're curious about the little black book, we literally released it like a month ago. It's a full rewrite. It comes in digital format. It's instantly delivered to you. It's toddfalcone.com/guide, GUIDE. And here's the thing, like it's anybody in network marketing can afford it. There's no excuse to not get it. If you get it and you think you don't like me afterwards, like for whatever reason, this is junk, this is garbage, which I guarantee you won't. But if you did, happily refund your money, no questions asked. I don't put out junk in the marketplace. It literally puts the words in your mouth for every conceivable situation that you'll find yourself in on social media, on the phone, in person, wherever it might be. And it's a game changer. So I'm super proud of that new product. And it's if you put it to use, it'll help you. If you never put it to use, it's not going to do anything for you.
That's the thing. I think if any of you people return something, I guarantee it's because you haven't used it and you haven't really done the effort to go into it. I want to recap really quick and then we'll let you and Angel close out. But number one, when you look, recruiting up, I was a Wall Street guy. I would have never recruited myself until I realized that I was looking for network marketing. I didn't realize I was looking for it, but I realized now I was looking for it. Right. So think about that. A couple of things. Practice. You mentioned about practice. I think that was huge. People don't do it. I even love when people use your brother-in-law to practice on. Use your warm market, because I've never seen anybody walk their plumber across the stage as the number one earner in their company because they recruited their plumber. But what they did do is they found somebody on social media in the cold market who wanted it more than they did. The other thing is you're an agent of change. How many of you are your why is? These are all my notes from Todd tonight. Okay. That, I want to change lives. The reason my why is I want to change lives. Well, then start doing it. You be an agent of change. The other one, great question to ask yourself. What did I produce today? My number, I don't know if you could see it, is 17. That's what I spoke to today, is 17. All right. 30-day prospecting challenge, toddfalcone.com/30-day. Okay. It's in the chat too. Okay. And the last thing is the payphone. I'm going to call this Todd Falcone's payphone thing. If you're not willing to go out in the rain and use a payphone, or you're not willing to do that one little extra thing, you're never going to grow your business. That's what Todd told you. He hid it from his parents. He hid it from even his girlfriend at the time, Carla at the time, his girlfriend. But they had it. You got to do what you got to do until you don't have to do it no more. That's it. I'm going to pass it off to you guys and I'm going to shut up. Thank you, Todd, so much. I love you. Thank you for doing it. You are definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite in the industry. So thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, no, first of all, I appreciate the opportunity to share, and I don't always get a chance to go. I don't know. We went down a few different rabbit holes today. I do a lot of interviews, but the directions that we went was highly unusual. So, and I think it's important for people to, like I said, I didn't make up that quote. That's a Natalie Cole quote, right? Everybody sees the glory. They don't know the story. And it's like, oh, you're an overnight success. Yeah, a 20-year overnight success or a 30-year overnight success. I mean, even other people that like you would, like there's some people that are like big influencers, and you look at them like, where'd this person come from? Like, I'll give you an example. Like I remember when T. Harv Eker first like hit it. I was like, where's this guy coming from? I never heard of this guy. And a friend of mine is like, dude, he's been at this for so freaking long. Like he finally just he finally hit it. But he had been at it for years and years and years before like his whole brand exploded. So you never know. If you quit, like it ain't ever gonna happen. But if you just keep charging and keep improving, how could you not get there?
If you quit, it ain't ever going to happen, guys. And honestly, quarters, pager, and a payphone, and you guys have social media at your fingertips right now. I wanted to get into that whole thing with you too, of how that's changed your business, but we're going to invite you back another time because I absolutely have enjoyed having you here so much, Todd. The response from the audience, my phone's blowing up. Everybody's saying they're doing the 30-day challenge. So We're excited. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and your wisdom today. Thank you, Paul, for setting this up with Todd today. This was just awesome. And yeah, I mean, you're welcome here anytime. So looking forward to more conversations with you for sure. And guys, I listen to this replay and share this with people. They need it. This was fantastic.
Good. Then we got to pick what we're going to give away, because a lot of people are already looking at the 30-day thing on their own. They're looking at the 2.0, which I'm going to get 2.0. I'm going to tell you this. So that's a digital download, the Little Black Book of Scripts 2.0, or is it a hard copy?
Yeah, it's digital. It's instant delivery, and it's actually really interesting. I'll share this real quick. So, I always like to get, obviously everybody likes to get positive feedback if you're putting something out in the marketplace. I mean,
Sure.
Making money is great, but like, knowing that you're doing a good job is even better. So when I got off the trail this morning, I got a voice message from what is probably the single largest female income earner of all time in network marketing. And I came back and she's like, I got your book. I already went through it. I need to get you on my team training. So I'm doing a training for her this weekend. But to me, that's just like, okay, what I'm doing is helping people. And when you have people like that who are, like, it's the funniest thing is like the feedback that I've gotten back from people on the new version of the Little Black Book, they've all been 6 or 7 figure income earners. I haven't even tried to get a testimony from somebody who's like, oh my gosh, I'm brand new. And they're like, holy smokes, this is good. I need to get this in front of my team. So that was like, she called me and said, hey, I need to get this in front of my group like ASAP. So yeah, just don't give up, you guys. It's this business, when you get it going right, is amazing. You're going to have your challenges, but you have challenges in your life already. Like you have frustrations in your job. Like, it's not like the difference is there's leverage here and there is freedom. Like when Izzy came out, he was talking about my watch. Like, I mean, dude, I drive a Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro, just so you guys know. That's my daily driver. I have a 65 Mustang in the garage, but I don't drive like a Bentley or like, that's not my style. I do this business because of the lifestyle that it provides, not the lifestyles of the rich and famous I don't even like caviar, to be honest with you. It's more about like, I can leave to go camping on Thursday and come back on Tuesday and not fight the traffic Friday afternoon and then have to rush home on Sunday. Absolutely. I was able to raise my kids being a stay-at-home dad and experience all of their stuff rather than a father that comes home at 6:30 at night, eats dinner and passes out on the couch.
Right.
That's why you want to do network marketing, because of the freedom when you get it going right that it provides you in your life. Yeah, you can get rich. And I have a watch collection. I like nice watches. This is the one I wear all the time because I can see my pulse rate. I can see how many miles I hiked. I can see how many calories I burned in yoga, whatever. And I like nice stuff, but it's more about you can't take any of the stuff with you when you're dead. Like, oh, where'd all my stuff go? Well, I'm gone, and hopefully I'm up there. That's where I'm going. But it's the experiences that you have with the people that you love the most that make the biggest difference. And network marketing, when it's done right, enables you to have way more of those experiences than a regular, stressful job. So I appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you so much, guys. Make sure to pay it forward, share the gratitude, take a screenshot, post on Todd's timeline if you allow that, Todd. I don't know if you do. If not, send him a message. Yep. Say what you learned today. What was your takeaway? What did you get tonight? Put it on your stories. Take a screenshot and just say, oh my gosh, Todd Falcone is amazing. I just got the best training. If you missed out, make sure to get with me and I'll get you the replay. Like, we want this to go out to the masses because this was huge. And so thank you so much for sharing right from your heart. You live life on your own terms for what it means for you, right? And you embody that for the whole industry. So I love that. Guys, there's so many resources and we can't wait to recap this next week and get them some goodies.
Great. Thank you so much, Todd. Thank you so much, Angel. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Guys, listen, you know me. I very rarely recommend anything. There's nothing you can get from Todd that you're going to go wrong with. I'm just telling you, this is from me. Any of that material is going to be valuable to you. Just don't worry where you start. Just start. Okay? I like the Fearless Networker. I like the Scripts book. I'm going to get the new one myself. So thank you. Look, Todd's supporting us. You got to support Todd. Good night, guys. Love you guys. Todd, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
See ya.